Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Leviathan box set again, and today we're going to look at how we can use these Space Marines in this box set to build a Space Wolves army. Now, we're going to look at the contents of the box set and talk a little bit about all the units in there and how we can use them inside a Space Wolves force as well. We'll then take a look at some other units we can use to expand upon this initial purchase, mostly some Space Wolves specific units. We'll then finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1500 points for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own Space Wolves army for Warhammer 40k 10th edition. Now, we have done a video using this for generic Space Marines, so that is Ultramarines, Iron Hands, Salamanders, anything that would be considered a Codex Astartes chapter, and even some that, you know, are loosely Codex adherent. We have already done a video for that, and I will link that in the top of the screen somewhere. But we're also going to do these on Blood Angels, Dark Angels as well, and Black Templars, though we will not be doing on the Death Watch, as these models here are going to be push fit. They don't have all their shoulder pads separate, and I think if you want to, you certainly could convert them up with a decent amount of work, removing shoulder pads on a lot of models to make them into Deathwatch Marines, but I'm only going to look at chapters that have symbols that we could easily find water transfers for or paint them on relatively easy. They don't have such detailed transfers as the Deathwatch to use. So with that said, there won't be a Deathwatch video, but all the other four main Codex, non-Codex Space Marines will get a video like this. And so, let's talk about the Leviathan Space Marines. So first of all, we get a captain in Terminator armor. And what's really cool is this model can serve as a different couple of things. He can obviously function as the captain, which effectively works as a Wolf Lord, or he could be a Wolfguard battle leader in Terminator armor, or a Wolfguard pack leader in Terminator armor as well, though you will need to change the base size of this model depending on what you go with. But a captain in Terminator armor is really nice. We get rights of battle where once per battle round, his unit that he's attached to, or himself if he's alone, can use a stratagem, even if that stratagem has already been used by your army, for 0 CP. You've also got the Imperium Sword, so when you attach him to a unit, and he can be attached to all the different types of Terminators, he can re-roll charge rolls made for the model's unit, so pretty cool stuff. Now, the Librarian in Terminator armor is going to join him. This is a really fun model, so once again, we've got, you know, the Terminator armor. We can join all those different Terminator-style units. He's got a Psychic Hood, so a Feel No Pain of 4+ against any psychic powers, and the Veil of Time. While this model's attached to a unit, he can give sustained hits ones out to their weapons, which is pretty cool, and this works in both combat and in shooting. Now, he does also have Smite as a Witchfire power that he can use, which is going to provide some nice D3 damage in a variety of different strength, 5 or 6, depending whether you're choosing to focus it, or AP -1 or -2, once again, depending if you focus it or not. If you focus it, you do gain devastating wounds, but you do get hazardous as well. Now, next up, we have the Lieutenant with a combi weapon. This model, I think, really does suit Space Wolves really nicely. Goes into a lot of their lore for old Space Wolves players. This is like a perfect lone wolf style model to me. Now, you've got primary objective identified, where at the start of the first battle round, if your army contains one or more models with this ability, you can select an objective marker on the battlefield to be the priority objective. Until the end of the battle, while a friendly Adeptus Astartes unit is within 6 inch of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that's within range of the priority target, can reroll wound rolls of 1. So, pretty cool. He's able to sort of direct going, that's what I'm here for, come help me friends, and do some shooting. He's also got Anti-Tyrannus 4+, which is pretty cool with the whole narrative of what this box set is about. He's also got Evade and Survive, where once per battle when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inch, he can make a normal move for free. This is just a really cool ability. Anything that plays around with the movement, stopping charges going into him is really powerful. Or potentially small arms fire, potentially being taken out of range, because it is after your opponent moves, they can't then move a little bit more to, you know, get back in range. We then have the Apothecary Biologist. Now, this one isn't restricted in the Space Wolves. This may be a mistake. So, at the time of writing, they haven't said the Apothecary Biologist is not available, just the regular Primaris Apothecary. So, this model is available. Now, Surgical Precision means while this model is leading a unit, you can give lethal hits out to the unit, and the Vivid Spectrum means if this model's unit destroys an enemy unit as a result of a melee attack, which is pretty common in Space Wolves, you can have an objective characteristic of 9 instead of 3 for this model, which is insanely good. Now, the first of the units in here, we have the Inferno Squad, obviously the dedicated Tyranid killers. They each have a Pyre Blaster, which is D6 shots, which have the Ignores cover and Torrent rule, meaning they automatically hit at strength 5, no AP, and damage 1. You've also got Purge the Foe, where in your shooting phase, after this unit selected a target and they've made some shots, and if they get a hit on that unit, you can force the enemy to take a Battle Shock test. Sternguard Veterans are the more elite unit. They can have a variety of different weaponries, and in this particular box set we do 2 combi weapons, which have anti-infantry 4+ as a special rule for them, and a heavy bolter as well, which gets the devastating wounds and sustained hits 1. The bolter drill as well means once per battle in shooting phase, if this unit destroys an enemy unit with a shooting attack, you can immediately shoot again. How you always would use this particular type of ability is if you've got, say, a unit that your opponent has with 1 or 2 models left, target them first and then target a new fresh target. Now, next up, we get the 5 Terminators, and these are really cool. I think the Terminators have a really fun spot in here, because they certainly can be used as Wolfguard Terminators, which actually are 5 points cheaper than your regular Terminator squad in Codex Space Marine, so I'd almost be always tempted to take these as Wolfguard Terminators instead. But that does mean you've got, a couple of cool things. You've got the same sort of ability regardless, where you can ignore your hit modifiers to your weapon skill and ballistic skill, which is really cool. Lastly, we have the Ballistus Dreadnought, a dedicated sort of gun platform Dreadnought. Now, it still has its armored feet, which are strength 7, no AP, but they're still strength 7 with 5 attacks in there, so it still can, squish some gaunts and stuff like that. But it's going to have a nice high damage sort of output. Ballistus Las Cannon, strength 12, -3 AP, damage D6 +1, and the missile launcher can also be a D6 strength 10 damage weapon as well. The Ballistic Strike means if it's ever targeting something that's not below half strength, you can reroll its hit rolls as well. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, first up, where to look to next is Wolfguard Terminators. We definitely want to look at grabbing another unit of Terminators. Having 2 units of Terminators on the table will enable both our Captain and the Librarian to join separate units. You could build up one squad of 10 if you really wanted to, though this would restrict one of your characters entering that unit and leaving one of them by themselves. So I think 2 of these is always great. Another cool thing about the Wolfguard Terminators unit is this is going to give you a ton of different Space Wolfy looking bits that you can use to either convert, put some tassels and bits and pieces on your other Terminators, and then mix the 2 squads freely amongst each other, as they can easily do. You just need at least the leader in one, and the leader you would build out of this kit in the other, but that will just enable you to mix it up and make everything sort of look whole in the unit. Having a couple of Space Wolfy sort of over the top ones and a couple of regular ones in each unit will enable them to sort of just look nice throughout the whole force. Now, they can have a variety of different weaponry. What's really cool, like I've already mentioned, the 5-point discount you get on purchasing these over regular Terminators from Codex Space Marines, but you also have the abilities where you're going to be able to take combat weapon options and ranged weapon options in the same squad, so they can be a lot more versatile than your average sort of Codex Space Marine Terminators. Now, you do have the Wolfguard ability, where each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can ignore any and all modifiers to the ballistic skill or weapon skill characteristic and or to the hit roll. In addition, each time a model in this unit makes an attack and targets an enemy unit you've selected for the Oath of Moment ability, you can add one to the hit roll as well. Now, other than that, you've got, so many different options in the kit. I think it's a fantastic kit to be picking up for your Space Wolves. Next up, we have the Eradicator Squad. These are a Primaris Marine unit and actually one of the regular Codex Marine units. Now, the reason we're going to talk about them is because we definitely want a unit that our Apothecary Biologist can go into, and we need a little bit of extra anti-tank, so melter guns, melter rifles, and the multi-melter are a fantastic way to bring something in. The Apothecary Biologist can really help them, and they still are Space Marines, so there's easily enough that you could go into a unit and clean them up. If something, annoying and sort of insignificant comes into your backfield, threatening backfield objectives, you could go try and take them out in combat and get your biologist to get that objective capture 9. Plus, you're still Space Wolf, so you're going to get some combat benefits. Now, looking at another unit, I think is an excellent one to bring into the force, the Space Wolves Venerable Dreadnought. Now, first of all, this is just an amazing kit. I get this is the old boxy Dreadnought, but it looks absolutely amazing. Now, you've got a variety of different ways you can go about this. Obviously, we've already got the Ballistus Dreadnought, so that is a shooting one already. I think a combat Dreadnought could be a really fun piece to add to the force. Now, you can have this, so you can take either the Fenrisian Great Axe and Blizzard Shield and go with the Stormbolt or Heavy Flamer as a weaponry. You can also have the combat weapons swapped out, so you could have missile launchers and stuff in there as well. And you can also got things like Hellfrost cannons, which are specific to this particular model. The Fenrisian Great Axe, though, is really fun. It's got a strike or sweep profile, with the sweep having 10 attacks, weapon skill 3+, strength 6, -2 AP, damage 1, or the strike with 5 attacks, weapon skill 3+, strength 10, -2 AP, damage D6 +1. A thing I really love about this, though, is the Blizzard Shield Festival giving it a 4-up invulnerable save, but the Wisdoms of the Ancients aura is amazing. While a friendly Adeptus Astartes infantry unit is within 6 inch of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll a hit roll of 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1, which is just super awesome. And lastly, Fenrisian Wolves. Now, these aren't necessarily that great a unit to bring into your force most of the time, but something they do that a lot of Space Marine Force are going to struggle with in the new way we sort of do points in the game now, with these sort of big round numbers, is they are going to fill in, nice little spots that other units in your force can't. Being 30 points for the 5 models, and you could also go an extra 20 points and put a Cyberwolf to lead them, which does give the unit Scout 6 inch, on top of the fact that they're eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which they advance, is really nice. This could be a cool unit to threaten backfield objective holders that are weak units, another throwaway unit that can go and run around. Now, they don't have any objective control, so that is a thing to remember for this particular unit that they're going to struggle with, but this does mean, that they can just go around being a nuisance, threatening opponents' units, taking stuff off the table, and being, a screen if needed as well. And so here we have our sample army list for the Space Wolves using the detachment, the Champions of Russ, which is the Space Wolves special detachment we get. Now, Captain in Terminator armor is going to be our Warlord for our characters, and we've also got the Pelt of Beowulf, which is a nice cheap little upgrade for 10 points. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit with an engagement range of the bearer must take a battle shock test. Forcing battle shock test is just good. I like this a lot. For 10 points, it's a really good little enhancement to take. We then have our Librarian in Terminator armor, Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, and the Apothecary Biologist, as well as a Cyberwolf in there for an extra character. Other infantry, we have no battle line in this force, but we do have our Inferno Squad and the Sternguard veterans from the initial box set, and then we've gone for 2 units of Wolfguard Terminators. Now, we've got a variety of different weapons in the Wolfguard Terminator kit. We'll get a second assault cannon, so we've got one of those in each. We've got twin lightning claws in each, and then we have 2 storm bolters and 1 storm bolter in each. And then we've got the pack leaders. We've got Power Weapon Storm Bolter, which will be from the initial box set, and a Thunder Hammer and Storm Shield, plus an additional model with that same loadout in the second unit. And Fenrisian Wolves are in there for a nice little filler of the last few points we have, and the Eradicators in there with their single multi-melter. We then have the Ballistus Dreadnought and a Space Wolves Venerable Dreadnought with Fenrisian Great Axe, Blizzard Shield, and Heavy Flamer to round out the force. If you've been playing with the Space Wolves, let us know your thoughts on what you're going to do with your Leviathan box set, if indeed that's how you're going to build up your Space Wolves, and if not, let us know what you're going to do with the Space Wolves in general in 10th edition. Let us know your comments down below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games, or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description, and as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallers, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C, and our YouTube members: Greenrich Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.